So, for no reason in particular, let's talk about how to spot a genocidal ideology. Hi, my name is Matt Hirschberger. I write about facing a bleak world with hope, curiosity, and imagination. For the purpose of this video, I also have a master's degree in human rights. The person who did probably the most comprehensive study on this is the Yale professor Ben Kiernan, who is the director of genocide studies at Yale University. But I actually think that the number one thing he's got on his resume is that he did so much to prosecute the Khmer Rouge for the genocide in Cambodia that they tried him for, quote, prosecuting and terrorizing the Cambodian resistance patriots. He was tried and convicted in absentia, so he has never actually gone to jail. But if the Khmer Rouge says that they don't like you, you're probably doing a good job. In 2007, Kiernan published the book Blood and Soil, A World History of Genocide and Extermination from Sparta to Darfur. It is a comprehensive history looking at basically, for as long as we've had civilization, all of the different things that we would now consider to be genocide. And he also found 4 common themes in the ideologies of the people that committed these genocides. The number one theme of genocidal ideology is cults of antiquity. This is the blood in Blood and Soil. It is basically any sort of nostalgia for an idealized past. So in the case of like Nazi Germany, they focused a lot on old Germanic myths and on Germanic music and on really kind of like, mythologizing the German people as kind of like the best people in the world. And it's not just Germany that does this. Anyone who has committed a genocide has some sort of nostalgia for an idealized past. So Kiernan's second theme of a genocidal ideology is a fetishization of land or of agriculture. This is the soil part of the Blood and Soil. You have your chosen people, now you have to have a land that belongs specifically to them. Historically, what we now call genocide first arose with agriculture. This is because people would go out and they would plant all of their crops, but there would still be people who would be moving through that land. And a lot of those people would be nomadic or they would be pastoralists, which means that they're herding sheep or livestock or something like that. And those two different uses of the land very much run counter to one another. This meant that a lot of the times the people who were in the agricultural societies would go out and try and murder everyone who came through what they called their land. Now, a lot has changed in the past couple hundred years, but this pattern still does hold true. In the United States genocides against the Native Americans, it was very much a case of the settlers saying, well, they're not using the land, which was incorrect. They just weren't using it for the type of agriculture that the settlers wanted to do. But they said anyone who doesn't want to use it that way doesn't belong on there, and we have a right to take that land for ourselves. Now, today, it's focused less on nomads and more on migrants, for example, or for people who live in cities who are seen as not being particularly connected to the land in any way. The third feature of genocidal ideology is ethnic enmity. You've got your ideal group and they have the land that they belong to. You also are going to have a group that they hate. These are people who run counter to what they see as being the correct way of life. They don't belong on the land, and they are the people who are normally the target for the eventual genocide. So Kiernan's fourth theme of genocidal ideology is expansion. Basically, the idea is we've got the right people and this land belongs to us and more of this land should belong to us. So they may do it through imperial acquisitions or through territorial conquests, but the idea is more of this land should have more of our people on it. And if there are people who are currently on it, well, they don't belong there and we are justified in getting rid of them. Now, having a genocidal ideology and committing a genocide are two very different things. You need to actually have the means to be able to commit your genocide in order to do that. So if you look around your country and you find a group that fits these 4 themes, cults of antiquity, fetishization for land and soil, ethnic enmity, and an emphasis on expansion or territorial acquisition, it is in your best interest to make sure that that group never gets any sort of political power, because if they do, there is a very good chance that they will start to do some really, really awful stuff.